What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel. Penn State hosts Michigan in the biggest game of the week in the Big Ten. The game will be on ABC Saturday night at 7:30 Eastern Time. Penn State favored by 9 points in this game. The over-under is 45, so Vegas expects it to be a pretty low-scoring game. A College game day will be there. It's the whiteout game for Penn State, so you know they're going to be pumped up and ready. This is the biggest home game of the season for the Nittany Lions, and they're trying to prove that they belong in the college football playoff conversation. This is a team that I think has been overlooked a little bit up to this point, and this is their first real big game, big chance to show what they got. I know last week they went on the road and beat Iowa, but still I think some people kind of overlooked that game with all the big games that were going on last weekend. So this is a big opportunity for Penn State, but it's a bigger game for Michigan because they have to have this win. If they lose this game, they will have 2 losses in conference play, and I don't think they would have any chance to make the college football playoff if that happened. So this is a must-win for Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines if they want to stay in playoff contention. Penn State actually doesn't need this win as much. If they beat Ohio State and take care of business in the rest of their games, they could still most likely get to the Big Ten championship game and have a shot to get to the college football playoff. So again, the pressure is on Michigan in this game. Penn State, though, I think they're going to be pumped up and ready to go. It should be a good one. Should be a defensive battle like we've seen with both of these teams here in the last few weeks. The FBI likes Penn State by a pretty big margin here. It's crazy to think, if you go back to the preseason and you would have said, yeah, Penn State's going to be favored by 9 points in this game. The FBI is going to give them a 78.6% chance of winning. I don't think I would necessarily thought that would be the case, but that's how the season has gone. You look at the offensive problems for Michigan, you wonder how are they going to score on the road against this Penn State defense. Penn State's been pretty good offensively. We'll look at the stats in just a second. Let's look at the leaders so far this season for these teams. You see Shea Patterson hasn't had a great year, only 1,200 yards passing, 3 interceptions, but he hasn't been awful. I mean, it's not like he's been terrible. Sean Clifford has been a pleasant surprise, in my opinion. He's thrown for over 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. He's looked really good. And then you look at these 2 running backs. It's both of these teams, I think, have not run the football as well as they're used to. Zach Charbonnet has a true freshman in there. He's run for close to 400 yards. Noah Cain has emerged as the go-to guy for Penn State. Receiving-wise, you got Ronnie Bell there. He's caught 20 balls for 361 yards. But KJ Hamler might be the best player on the field in this game. Just a dynamic player with the football in his hands. One of the top receivers in the country. He's caught 26 balls for almost 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Look for him to have a big day if this Penn State offense is going to be successful. Here are the stats for the 2 teams. You can see Penn State's averaging 12 points a game more than Michigan this season. And then with all the weapons that Michigan had coming back at wide receiver and the changes in the offense, we thought their offense was going to be more explosive. That really hasn't been the case. They've been struggling on that side of the ball. And I think an even bigger surprise is the defense here. Michigan's given up 17.5 points per game. They've been known to have one of the better defenses in the country the last few years. Hasn't really been the case. I mean, they've been pretty good. That's not bad. But they haven't been that dominant defense like we've seen in the past. Penn State, on the other hand, only given up 8.2 points per game. Very impressive. You look at the total yards per game. Penn State with a huge advantage there. Passing game advantage goes to Penn State. Rushing game goes to Penn State. Offensively, Penn State has just looked a whole lot better than Michigan so far this season. Defensively, both defenses are fairly similar when you look at the yards. Penn State definitely has the advantage. You look at what they've allowed in the passing game, though. Michigan has been pretty good against the pass. Problem for them has been in the run game. They give up 122 yards per game on the ground. Penn State's only given up 53 yards per game on the ground. They have been very good against the run, and I think that will bode well for them in this game. Michigan, I know they've got all the weapons, but they still want to try to run the football, and if they cannot run the football, I think it's going to be a long day for this offense. We've seen it in several games already this season. When they play good competition, when they play good defenses, Michigan has just bogged down offensively. They've really struggled. They can't seem to complete a pass on 3rd and long. Shea Patterson, I don't know what his deal is this year, but he just has not had a good season so far. Penn State, better offensively, better defensively, playing at home, college game day, wide out. I mean, there's really no reason to pick Michigan in this game except for the fact that it's a must-win for them. They're the more desperate team. Maybe they want it a little bit more, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think it'll be enough for them to play really well, especially defensively, but I don't think it'll be enough to get them the win. I'm going to take Penn State 23, Michigan 17. I do think Michigan covers. I think they keep it close. Again, I think the defenses will play really well on both sides. Look for a couple of turnovers maybe by each team, but Penn State, I think, will get the win. I think they'll be up by a couple scores, maybe 23 to 10. Michigan will get a touchdown early in the fourth quarter, but then the Penn State defense will clamp down and they will stop Michigan late in the game to get the win. 23-17, my prediction. What do you guys think about this one? Let me know down in the comments below. Give me your score prediction for this matchup, as it should be a good one. Again, I think it's the biggest game of the weekend, especially for Michigan. This is a huge game for them. They've got to have this win. Again, give me your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on our Big Ten football channel.